All right. All right, folks, welcome to the first meeting of the Lakeville Park Commission of 2022. So in accordance with the provisions allowed by Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, the January 10th, 2022 meeting of the public meeting of the Lakeville Park Commission will be held remotely. However, to view this meeting in progress, please go to facebook.com/LakeCAM. You do not need a Facebook account to view the meeting. This meeting will be recorded and available to be viewed at a later date at www.lakecam.tv. All right. Just a little bit of order here, folks. I like to just begin the year. We are going to be following Robert's Rules of Order for our meetings. So in order that everybody gets heard, make sure we only one person at a time. It'd be nice if you go through the chairman to allow you to speak, or wave your hand, raise your hand, whatever. I'll pick on you, but I just don't want everybody speaking over everybody. So if you can do that, that would be great. Okay. So first item on the agenda, we have some visitors here from the, I want to make sure I get this right, Community Preservation Act for Lakeville Campaign Group. We have Amy Avila, Michelle McEachern, and Sue Spieler. So we did receive your proposal. I think, Sue, you sent that to Nelly, and we all got that. So I guess what we want you to do is if you could just go over, summarize the proposal, because the idea is for us to vote on whether we'll hold the event, allow the event to be held at Ted Williams, correct? That's what we're asking?
Yes. Yep, that's what we're asking.
So if you guys, if one of you just want to go over, review what the proposal is, for everybody, if you don't mind.
Michelle, do you want to do it? You want me to do it, or?
Go ahead, Sue.
Okay, so what we would like to do is the first Sunday in March, we'd like to hold a small informational meeting for anyone who would like to come just listen to hear what CPA is about. We'd like to have like a small fire pit and do toasted marshmallows, cocoa, possibly bring in other events just to kind of attract people to come, like maybe a petting zoo, possibly have Wayne D. Moranville come and do like the chainsaw carvings and stuff like that, just to create some interest, try to almost bring back the old Winterfest back, but you know, on a smaller scale, just to try to do something for the town, and then also just to have information for people about the CPA, because that will be going on the ballot for April 4th. And a lot of people in town, believe it or not, still do not know what the CPA is all about. So we'd just like to be able to provide some information for anyone that would be interested.
So, go ahead. I just got a question or two, if you don't mind. You mentioned might have other events like the a petting zoo or a chainsaw. When will you know for sure what the event's going to entail?
Well, once, you know, we got the blessing of the board and knew exactly when, you know, we could do it, then we'd reach out to other places and see if they'd be interested. So, I mean, probably, hopefully would have an answer by everyone within a month.
All right. Anybody got any questions?
Do we need any special permits for that, Joe?
Special permits? Not that I know of. I know.
Petting zoo and well, the chainsaw cutting, I don't think, but I don't know if the petting zoo has to go through the Board of Health or anything like that. Do you know?
I don't know. Just to let everybody on the group know, I did speak to the town council as well as the town administrator and one of the selectmen about this event. Seeing it is a political event, it's going to be something that's coming up on a ballot on the future, the next election. So we just want to make sure we get all the rules right and we don't have any, inconsistencies. So I've shared the proposal with them. They gave us some feedback on what we can allow, what we cannot allow. And we'll be going over that down the road with you. But the main point is we want to know the date as well as the scope of the whole thing you were going to have, what it was going to entail. A question for you ladies, if you don't mind, are you going to be using the Loon Pond Lodge at all?
That wasn't part of our plan.
Okay, so just a question is, a couple of questions that came up. One of them is obviously a bathroom facilities. Are you going to be supplying those, like porta potties or anything like that?
Is that what's typically required for an event?
Well, there's no, at that time, this is, you're talking in March, right? the bathroom facilities are not open for the parks at that time, so, I didn't know if you were gonna be using I was going through Boston Tavern for the lodge or not. If not, you're gonna have to bring in some porta potties based on the, how many people you're gonna have attending. I don't know if you, Darlene?
Would the bathrooms be available that the other place
Lodge.
uses? Yeah, by the,
Lodge.
what's his name?
Karate studio.
Hey, Tony. Would
Kara-
they be available?
What bathrooms you talking about?
The bathrooms over by the police station. I'm sorry, behind the police station. By the
The karate studio, right?
thank you. Thank
No.
you. The karate studio. I lost the name. Thank you.
No, they won't be at that time.
Isn't the karate studio still open?
Karate studios, but we don't open those bathrooms in March. So they won't be available.
So what do the karate studio use for
Yeah,
bathrooms
they
right
use
now?
those bathrooms in March.
Scott, you can't hear you.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, they have their own bathroom in the karate studio.
Yeah.
Not the outside ones that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh,
So that won't be open. I mean, obviously, when they're using the studio. So the outside bathrooms, the three by the studio, as well as the one bathroom in the Pines won't be available at that time. So just something to think about.
Okay, the other thought that we had, and we don't know if Boston Tavern would be even interested, because we were thinking about doing it from 2 to 4, but if Boston Tavern was at all remotely possibly interested, we could do it from 2 to 4 if they wanted to do a small concession stand with hamburgers and hot dogs and, anything like that, but I don't know if that's even feasible.
Yeah, I said, if you'd have to go through the Boston Tavern folks, we don't schedule that lodge at all. That's Boston Tavern does that by themselves.
Okay,
you
'cause I
want,
know originally we wanted March, I believe it was the 5th, but Nellie had told me that I guess there's already an event there that day. So that's why we changed it to the Sunday date with a rain date of the following weekend.
Joe, can I say something?
Sure.
I would think right now, I mean, if you guys want to provide your own porta potty, that, you would have access to the outdoor fire pit and it could be put on that way. If the bathroom is going to be an issue, then it would have to go through Boston Tavern if you're trying to use the Loon Pond facilities. So as of right now, I mean, if you guys want to rent one of them, then I think that we have enough information with what your proposal is. You're going to have a table that's going to be for a couple hours. Then that's enough. If it's going to grow into something larger where you're really going to need facilities
Right.
and food and stuff like that, then I guess my recommendation would be to ask Boston Tavern. But again, if it's going to be from 2 to 4, that's a couple hours. People might just be stopping in and grabbing some information, having a marshmallow, and if they feel like they need to go to the bathroom, then they might just head home.
Right, or, I mean, the other thought is could we possibly just bring our own grill or something and grill our own food if we had someone that would volunteer to do the cooking outside? Would that be a problem?
No, this is,
Hey, Paula.
there's a fire pit there. And people use that all the time to grill outside. I don't know if that would help you. Do
Well,
you
we were
know?
planning on using the fire pit for toasting marshmallows and just for warmth and stuff. And then if,
And there's a big one too, to the left. It's huge, but I know that they used to hold like a pig roast or something there. So I don't know if that would help you, but there is a larger, I don't know what to call it, a larger pit to the left of the Loon Pond Lodge. And I know
Okay.
the bikers used to have do stuff on it, after they had a bike ride, and it's outside. So I don't know if that would be more, you could do everything on that bigger one if
Okay.
you want to go over and take a look at it.
Okay, or if we had our own portable grill, would that be possible to bring as well or not? Or would we have to just use the fire pit?
I don't think there's any restrictions about bringing your own grill. Does anybody know of any? Scott, is there one? Can somebody want to bring their own grill in? Scott?
But
There's no restrictions if somebody wanted to bring their own grill in and barbecues and burgers, right?
correct,
Okay,
Okay,
but they couldn't sell them.
no, we wouldn't sell them, we'd just offer them, I mean, if they wanted to give us a donation, is that possible or not? Or we would supply everything, and it would just be,
yeah, for the, just for the, you know, all the other details, I think we have to make sure we pass it by the town, once again, because it is a political issue, so, I mean, we could probably, if we vote to move forward with this here, I think we can always talk about that down the road, Sue.
okay,
If
okay,
that's all right with you, I think we can work out details. I think your main point is if we allow you to move forward with the event. We just have
Okay.
to vote to approve that this evening, right? Is that,
Okay.
yeah, so.
Sure.
Did any of the board members have any other questions, concerns for the group?
No,
I'll make a motion to approve the Community Preservation Act for a rental of Ted Williams Camp on
Second.
March 7th.
Second.
Okay, for discussion, just, I know you mentioned about a fee, there will be a fee charged to this. Don't know if top, that's why we need to know the scope before we let you know what the fee is going to be, but there will be a fee. We charge for events at the park, and again, it's a political event, so we'll keep it just like everybody else. We're not in any way, shape, or form saying we support or oppose this group. We're just want to move forward, we're allowing the group there. So I just want to make sure we keep it clear. Again, because it is a ballot item coming up. All right, so any discussion on the commissioners? Okay, so the motion is to allow the CPA for Lakeville Growth, Lakeville Campaign Group, excuse me, to hold the event at Ted Williams on the Sunday, the 12th, or the 7th of March, right? With the rain date is the 12th. Did I state that properly?
Yes.
is it the 7th or the 12th?
Well, the 7th is the main day, the rain date is the 12th,
Okay,
just like this in the proposal. So what we'll do, let's just take a vote on it. So let's vote on approving the motion. Tony, how do you
Excuse me,
vote?
Excuse me,
Scott,
question. The 7th is a Monday?
said, yeah, on the proposal, says the Sunday, the 7th. You in the right year?
March
I know, I didn't-
2022. Sunday is the 6th.
Okay, so does that work for you, Sue, the 6th, not the 7th?
yep,
Okay.
Sunday the 6th, that's fine.
Right.
I thought I had fixed the date, I
Right.
guess I didn't.
Good catch on that one, Scott.
Thank you, Scott.
No problem.
Tony, how do you vote?
Yay.
Darlene,
Yes.
Paula,
yes,
and Scott?
Yes,
Okay. The yeses have it. The motion is passed. You guys are approved to use the Ted Williams on that time for that event. Nellie will be in touch with you to get more details the further we get down the road, if you don't mind. Just let us know what you plan on having, and we'll discuss the fees, and we'll vote on that next time, probably, what the fee will be. We'll let you know. How's that?
Sure.
All right, is that okay?
Do you happen to have a range just so we could prepare?
I don't, because we just want to know what it is. We have to talk to these guys on the group here about that there. So, but we'll let you know in the next week or so. How's that?
Sounds
Is that
good.
okay?
Okay, yeah, because I mean, we have a very limited budget. So hopefully it's not too exorbitant.
Yeah, even with the porta potty thing, maybe we could try to get someone to donate it or something. If we can't work with Boston Tavern, so we'll have to
Right.
figure that out.
Just for a ballpark, I think porta potties are like 165 for a day. I think it is, just to let you know, so. Anyway, all right, folks, we appreciate it. Thank you very much. You don't have to stick around if you don't want. All
Thank
right?
you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, folks, moving right along. Did everybody get the minutes from Nellie? From August 16th, August 30th, November 15th, and December 6th? Everybody got them? Everybody looked at them?
yes.
Okay, the minutes from August 16th, everybody have any questions before we move forward with it? Any corrections at all? If there's any typos, we can vote on anyway, but if there's something more than typos, we'd have to hold up for Nelly. But if there's nothing, I make a motion, we accept the minutes from August 16th, 2021. Can I get a second?
Second,
Second it is. Any discussion at all? All right, let's vote to approve them. Darlene, how do you vote?
Yes.
Paula,
yes,
Tony,
Yes,
Scott,
Yes,
your minutes have been approved. Thank you. Next, the minutes from August 30th. Everybody had a chance to look at them? Scott?
Joe, I have left my whole packet at the office, so unfortunately I don't have them in front of me. But I did note one possible correction, and I'm not sure if it's that day or the following one. If you, is that one the one that talks about Ken Lally on the last page?
I have to take a look at it. I didn't, I don't have, let me see if I have them up here.
I don't know if anybody has it in front of them.
I
I
do not.
do. I do.
on August,
I'm not sure if it's this date or the next date.
August 30th.
Hang on, let me take a look at. I'll just try to pull them up here if I have them at all. Hold on. I don't know if I got, I don't have them in front of me here. Yes, I do. Hold on here. The 30th, I'll tell you which one Ken Lally was at.
Well, it's the one we're talking about, Ken Lally. It's on the last page. It's in the
Yeah.
middle of the page.
It's August 3rd, on the August 30th one.
Okay, thank you.
Down the end, it says Mr. Lally would prefer to be charged the in-town rate.
Okay, so if you go to the middle of that page, it talks about he would be doing work on the Little League field.
Yeah,
It's not the Little League field, it's the Babe Ruth field.
Okay.
Just want to note that correction.
All right. We'll get that to Nelly.
Yep.
It doesn't seem to change anything. So if you don't mind, I think we can still vote on approving the minutes with that correction. How's that?
Fine.
All right. Anybody, other questions, complaints on those? If not, I move we accept the minutes from August 30th as written with that, the correction made by Scott. Change the Little League field to Babe Ruth field. Can I get a second?
second,
Great. Any discussion? Let's vote to approve. Darlene, how do you vote?
Yes.
Scott,
Yes,
Tony,
Yes,
Paula,
yes,
meetings are approved. Thank you. Next, minutes from August, excuse me, November 15th. Everybody, was able to look at those? Any corrections, complaints? If not, I'll make a motion. We accept the minutes of November 15th. Can I get a second?
second,
Okay, any discussion? All right, let's vote to approve. Darlene, how do you vote?
Yes.
Paula,
yes,
Tony,
yes.
Scott,
yes,
so moved. Minutes have been approved for November 15th. The next one's December 6th. Now, those ones there, Darlene, and you and Tony were not there, so you cannot vote on these.
Mhm.
Scott, do you and Paula have any questions on those at all? Any comments?
no,
All right. All right, I like to make a motion. We accept the minutes of December 6th. Can I get a second?
second,
second,
All right. Let's vote to approve. Paula? Do you approve?
yes, I,
Scott?
yes,
Scott?
yes,
That's it. Minutes have been approved from December 16th. Thank you very much, folks. Minutes are taken care of. Okay, next item, vote, review and vote to approve the 2023 budget. Now, I sent this out and Nelly sent this out to everybody. Has everybody had a chance to take a look at it? All right,
I did, Joe, and I had some input to be made, and unfortunately, I don't have it with me.
Any other questions? You know that dealt with, Scott?
I wrote them right on the budget. So I guess it couldn't have been too important.
Did anybody else have any questions or comments? So you get the revenues and you get the expenses. Looks like it was the balanced budget. it came in at 214, 220. Not much changed. One thing that did go up, we got, from the food, services at Loon Pond Lodge, it was 20,000 last time. Now it's gonna be 30,000. So that's the only thing that changed, an extra 10,000 from the lodge on that there. All right. Again, took an average of stuff for the Clear Pond. We didn't know which way we're gonna head on that one there. So I put some numbers together in between there. All the salaries and all that stayed the same. So not much changed. Again, we don't have that much to work with, but it is what it is. Scott, do you feel comfortable voting it? Darlene, you have a question?
Well, my question was, are we anticipating any more revenue from the Loon Pond? I mean, you said,
Well, it's three line items. We have the 85,000, the 20,000, now the 30,000. So it was
Right.
125 last year, 135 this year.
okay,
You know, we don't know how we're really tracking because we might be kind of heavy in this first half of the year to help us
Okay.
out last year's numbers. And with COVID, didn't know how it's gonna go. So those are
Yeah,
the
I'm just
estimates we
curious.
have right now.
okay. Thank you.
Scott, do you feel comfortable voting on this or you want to wait until you get your comments?
No, that's fine.
You sure?
Yeah,
We'll give you
it was
time.
just huh?
No, go ahead.
No, it was just a couple of, as to where some of the numbers came from, or why they were adjusted up or down, but they weren't big changes, so. I'm good.
Okay,
I have a question.
yep,
So under here, there's a line item for lodge maintenance. Correct? Hourly wages, lodge maintenance.
okay.
Yep.
Is this something that who's doing that? Is that something that we're paying one of our employees to do?
Well,
Joe,
no
maybe
one's
I can
doing-
help you with that one.
Good, Scott.
That originally was put in for shoveling snow when we had Mr. Berry doing that, but I believe now that's up to
The town,
Boston Tavern. Am I correct, Joe?
Yes. And I said, we don't have any money allocated to that this year.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That was $750 for shoveling snow was for Mr. Berry. And obviously it would go to zero this year if Boston Tavern is taking care of it. Does that help you, Tony?
Yep. Is there gonna be a line item for any Clear Pond improvements, small improvements, like under $5,000?
Under, what do you mean? We have,
For things like rocks, sand?
that will have to be in the items.
paint,
What was that, Paula?
the usual maintenance of the equipment there, like the playground, was that thrown into?
There's no, I don't know what that maintenance is. That was done by usually the workers, I guess. I don't know what we're talking about for maintenance on the playground
Well,
equipment.
supplies. So yes, the maintenance is done by the workers, the labor, but I'm talking about actual supplies.
Yeah, I mean, we have stuff covered in the rest of the budget for supplies that we need. Without a doubt.
Well, unless there's a line item designated to that, though, then it seems to be difficult to move money to those areas.
I mean, we've gotten, I don't know if, I don't know what we line on me here, but we've been able to get things done in the past. Okay, the way it's been.
Well, in my experience is if there's not a designation of the money, then when I've asked, it was not available.
But we don't have a bucket of cash tied into Clear Pond, no. It all comes into everything else that we have to pull from. So just going down some of these items here, wherever they may be.
Well, I
Yeah.
see there's like a
Joe.
line, there's a line item for groundskeeping supplies.
Yep.
Supplies, small tools, equipment.
Yeah, the groundskeeping supplies, that is the fertilizer for the parks. That's
Okay,
at
well, in the same, that same realm, that I would think that sand falls in is a similar item to fertilizer. And
Scott,
that
you
would
ready
be,
hand up? Scott,
Correct me if I'm wrong, Tony. Joe, I think what he's inferring to is that we should have a line item for supplies at Clear Pond Park, which would include things like gravel or sand or other items other than picking up some supplies at Home Depot. Is that what you were talking about, Tony?
yeah, exactly. I mean, just like there's a line item for if it were have one for fertilizer because the
Right.
grass needs to be green. Well, then there's needs to be sand on the beach, or even at Ted Williams Camp. I know we've discussed this in the past about sand at volleyball courts. So I just want to make sure that we have, as we're talking about a budget, that we have those in there. That way, when it comes time to purchase something, we don't have to say, oh, well, we need to pull it from somewhere else, or we don't have it, and we're going to have to raise money to do so.
right now, we do not have that. It's not a line item for that. No.
All right,
Never
well,
has
I
been.
I
There
I
isn't
would make a
right now.
recommendation that then that there is.
Well, we got to pull from somewhere else to balance it off then.
Well, we
So-
just talked about $700 that,
That was never
not
in,
getting-
that's never in.
getting
the
shoveled.
700 was not in the budget. That was not there. That was not this year. 2023 budget, zero there, not 700.
what we talked about was that was previously in the 22 budget. There was $700 that was allocated for snow removal at Loon Pond Lodge, which does not need to be done because they are taking care of it.
Yeah, but that doesn't exist this year. We had other things we had to cover. That item was taken out of there for this year. It doesn't, there's no lodge maintenance.
Okay. But if our
Right.
budget's increasing, then where'd it go?
Scott, go ahead.
Well, I think what he's getting at, Joe, is that, he'd like to see this line item. And if that's the case, then we have to change something else by, I don't know, Tony, what were you thinking? $500, $1,000?
Yeah, I think $1,000 is fair.
Okay, so now we've got to take $1,000 because right now the budget is balanced. We've got to
Yep.
take $1,000 from someplace else or increase income by $1,000.
Yep.
We still got to keep a balanced budget. So we've either got to cut an expense somewhere else at John Pond or a different expense at Clear Pond or an expense at Ted Williams to increase that $1,000. That's I think what Joe is talking about.
Yep.
We
Sure.
have to keep it balanced. We can't just add $1,000.
So
We've got to get it from someplace.
So I think that we did talk about, Paul and I talked about not having so many staff,
Attendant?
attendant staff at Clear Pond. So if we reduced an attendant, I don't know what one attendant makes over the course of the summer. But that could free up some money for supplies.
We did take $1,500 out of the attendance from last year to this year. So we did reduce that by 1,500 already. Again, if you take a look at just for talking about Clear Pond, the expenses versus revenues, it shows us 18,000 in the hole from Clear Pond. That is on the budget to talk about what we're gonna do about fees and restrictions to see if we can change that number. But right now, like I said, we did take money out of that based on what happened this year.
Well, again, this year, I mean, not to get too far into this, I mean, we are in pandemic. I think that we can reconsider how we are, who is accessing Clear Pond, as we can have that discussion to open that up to some more revenue, and hopefully, by that time in the summer, as the pandemic wanes on here, that will be more in the clear, so we can anticipate a little bit more. And then I would then again recommend that we do have, if we make, it's hard to say, come on down to the park if we're not going to do any improvements to it. If we're not going to put sand out on the beach and, rocks where it gets really muddy. So now's the time to make that line item.
Well, the stone has already been taken care of. We already got money is already appropriate. We'll be talking about that shortly. So that's not going to be an issue going forward. Again, if you want it, we want to add, we got to cut. That's all we got to do. So you recommend places we can cut, and we might want to do this. I mean, again, if we want to change the revenue numbers for Clear Pond, we got to be able to back it up and be able to do that. But we can't just throw out a number and say, yeah, we're going to get this. So you're going to be, I think we're conservative at best of what we put down here, and it still put us in a hole. So,
Well, I can recommend right now, then we open it up to Middleborough and Freetown residents, and then that would give us.
right now it's not there. So we got to talk about what we have right now, because again, that's another.
But if we don't make this recommendation right now, then it's not going to go into the budget for this year,
Right.
and we won't be able to get those things.
The point what we wouldn't do is vote on the budget to pass it then, if that's the case, if people want to make adjustments. But nobody said anything in the last couple of weeks since it's been out. And this is my fear. I try to prevent this from happening at this late hour. But if we don't feel comfortable moving forward the way it's written, we'll have to come back with something else. But we got to be based on some fact. I don't want to just throw out numbers, change things for stone or whatever. I just think we have to base on it. We have to look at the overall parks. Yes, we don't have much money. We all know that. Maybe next year will be different, or the year after will be different. But it is what it is this year. So you guys tell me how you want to handle this.
Well, I really feel like $1,000 is not that much to ask, and that we should take a look at it and figure out where we can find it in order to move forward. Because I really feel like it's essential that, a park that people love to use in the summer, we should be able to put some materials into it to
Now,
make it
I
nice.
will say, you guys, I've been talking to the town administrator, and there are some funds available, ARPA funds from the COVID at 4 parks. There is money going to be going to Clear Pond, as well as Ted Williams and probably John Pond, because of all this. So I can't guarantee anything, but I know there's going to be some money spent at the parks, and we might be able to get, if it's just $1,000. I hate to hold this up for $1,000. I think we can cover that with this funding. But that's just me. Love to see how it goes. But Paula.
Yeah, to you, Mr. Chairman. Tony, are we looking for the $1,000 just for material, for supplies? Are we talking about bigger items? What specifically did you mean, like the paint and
I'm
sand?
talking about sand, paint. Yeah, primarily. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it might be more than $1,000. So that's,
There's no question, but I mean, I could recommend 10, but I'm not going to. Seeing that we have nothing, I think that $1,000 is reasonable. And that's all I'm saying. And if it's not a line item, then I don't know, yes, that's great that there might be some money somewhere and it's being thrown out there as we can get it. But again, if it in my experience in the past is if it's not a line item, then we are not guaranteed that money, and it will be difficult. Those aren't sure things that we're getting money from somewhere else. I don't know. I haven't seen it. It's not allocated into a certain line that we can say, hey, we're going to spend this money on sand.
should we wait to
Now, if that
vote
money
on
came
this
into the budget beforehand and we can earmark it for something, then yeah, I wouldn't have a problem.
If we're gonna
Can we
get there,
delay
we have to get quotes for what we're talking about. I don't want to just throw in a number, best estimates. Let's get some quotes for whatever we're talking about if we're gonna amend the budget. But I don't want to be just taking shots at changing things based on something like that. Sounds good. Again, we have to balance it out. It's not just add something, it takes something out. So if we feel we want more discussion on this, we'll have to have it. We'll have to prolong the the budget vote for another time. But again, we've had a couple of weeks looking at this, and now we're coming in at the 11th hour with questions. We can do it, but it's just delays everything. The town is waiting on this. So it depends what
I
everybody
mean,
thinks.
Also, I mean, there was money donated for the Lakeville Haunted House items.
3,000.
$3,000 for that. And I'm not sure where that went. But I mean,
To cover our losses. That's where it went. Any money went in to cover our losses. We still didn't break even.
So it's already
You
spoken.
do realize we didn't have much money coming in last year. I hope everybody understands that. Not much money
Yeah.
came in.
yeah, so I guess we can further look at staffing and opening the park up to more patrons. And then maybe adjust that number so that we could have some type of line item for materials. That would be my recommendation.
I agree.
What's everybody else think? Do we want to vote on the budget, or we want to prolong it?
Can we put it off for the next meeting so we can get some numbers together and be more specific for a line item?
Again, we've had it out there for a couple of weeks, 0 feedback. So, yeah, we can do that, but again, I have no confidence anybody's gonna do anything. And again, we're gonna put something on there, we're gonna take it out, we're gonna have quotes on things. I don't want to just throw in a number, I think it sounds good. We've got Stan donated in the past. We haven't paid for that, correct? I believe we've had things donated. Do we really want to hold it up for Stan? You guys tell me.
Again, if it was, I've been talking about sand for a year and a half. I mean,
I think you've been on board less than a year, so I don't know if we can be, but it's all right.
It wouldn't be held up.
Well, I mean, we got sand last year. We seem to get sand every year, don't we?
Well, it covered about half the beach.
No.
No, quarter.
Only half the beach was used this year. Wasn't many people there at all.
Well,
Really
I
made a
think
dent in
that
it.
that we're reconsidering that, and that's something that we can have going forward. But again, if we're not going to vote on that right now, then it's hard to go a whole nother year and not have it. But I mean, heck, I can make a motion right now though to what we think about Clear Pond and you know, not having it residents only and allowing.
No, you cannot. We didn't have it on the agenda for a vote. So you cannot make a motion to vote on. It's not up to
All
vote
right,
on tonight.
then I would make a motion that we prolong it.
I second it.
So I'll tell you, we're not going to vote. I guess we have to vote on this, reject it. We'll just say prolong it then. But I guess I got to get commitment from everybody here. You're going to do your due diligence. Again, we've had it, and now we're holding it up. You know, it's again, we're doing the same thing we did last time. You know, we can't get our stuff together. So take a look at it, get some quotes, get some ideas. If you're going to add, we're going to take something out. Right now, it's balanced. If we have to change it, we can do that, but you can't just be throwing darts at the board because everybody wants something on a park that they represent. We got to look at the total park system. All right.
The fact is
So we
also,
will-
it was balanced before and we still incur a loss.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we can say it's balanced again this year, but the fact is that it will probably incur a loss as well.
It could.
Right. So I mean, for
So you don't go in there
$1,000,
thinking, what the heck, you got to do the best you can to hit it. The town's getting tired of giving us money. But that's what it is. We owe it to the town to be balanced best we can. That's all.
to be fair, I don't know how much the town has given to Clear Pond in regards to materials though.
It's the parks, Tony. Stop thinking in Clear Pond. Clear Pond's open 10 weeks a year, 8 weeks this past year. It's not the lion's share of the whole park system. So step back and look at the parks and not
Right,
just
and
Clear
I
Pond.
don't think that $1,000 is the lion's share of the budget.
It certainly isn't. But you're telling me it's worth holding up the budget for.
honestly, I've mentioned a line item for the parks before, for Clear Pond specifically.
And if you look at the expenses, it is broken down like we requested per park. You saw that at least. There's items on there, what's going to Clear Pond, you can look at it right now, 45,400 for Clear Pond. Items on there, so it's on the budget if you looked at it, so it is broken down like we wanted. We took those buckets and we made sub buckets. That was done by Scott, started that, and the town accountant did that for us. So we have it broken down by park like we wanted. So if we're not gonna move forward, we're gonna hold the budget open. We're not gonna vote on this meeting. Please look at it, and let's discuss it. If you have to send emails or whatever to different park commissioners in the next 2 weeks, do so. You can't wait till we get here to start talking about things. So moving on, next item. We won't do, but now the capital plan. Does everybody, I sent out the revised one today. Has everybody seen that one?
Yes.
Scott, you didn't see it.
When did you send it out?
Well, I sent it over last week, but I revised it over the weekend based on Nate
When
and,
did you send it out? I checked my email at 3 o'clock this afternoon. There was nothing from you.
it went out about 5 o'clock then. Like, it went out today. It was late, yes, because okay. So
I
we
leave,
don't.
I
we
leave
don't-
the office at 4, so I didn't get it.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Well, I get my emails all the time. They get forwarded to my phone, so I don't know. We don't get them.
My company doesn't pay for my phone, so my emails don't go to my phone.
All right, I will get your home email address so we can use that as well if you like. Did anybody have any comments on the last budget, capital plan? I'll go through the items on there if you'd like for 2023.
No, I'm fine with the other one.
Well, we had to change it because of some funding issues and what Nate did some work for us over the weekend, which was awfully nice, and he got some different quotes on things. So for 2023, we have 4 items on there. Ted Williams Camp Irrigation Pump House, $10,000 to demolish that and reroute the irrigation lines. Ted Williams Camp Lighting Upgrade, the parking lot by the tennis courts, $15,000. Replace Clear Pond Park Guard Shack, $25,000. And repairs to John Pond Building. There were 2 alternatives, $50,000 and $100,000. We want the $100,000 for now. We might be able to get some funding to help us with that one. But that was $100,000 to tear that building down, the back part of it at least, and fix up the front half if we want to keep it.
Which
If not,
building?
excuse
Did
me,
you say 100,000 for tearing down the back half of that?
and listen, and tearing down the back half and rebuilding the front half of, keeping the front half of the building.
Which building, Joe?
The big shack, the big building by next to the snack shack at John Pond. The old
John Pond.
old building
The
there.
white one?
Yeah, the big one there.
The white
Um,
one.
There were 2 options, to tear it all down, just tear it down, everything down, or to tear it down in the back half, because the back half has to come off. It's moved off the foundation, it's a mess, so roof is horrendous, so it's not habitable. So the option, Nate gave us 2 options, tear the whole thing down, or rip off the back half and fix the front half and leave that there. That was $100,000. So those were the 4 items for 2023 based on his recommendation. The new fields, parking lot area for the new fields. It was $150,000 going to Franklin. That will be paid for out of some other funds. That won't, so we will get that done this year. It will not come out of our pocket.
Are we getting it done or not getting it done? I'm
It's
sorry.
gonna get done. Scott,
I gave you a quote for about 35,000.
I hear you. Not according to what Franklin says needs to be done there. It's out of our hands because it's not coming from us.
This is-
It's the funding from the ARPA funds are gonna take care of those fields down there. The parking area and everything else that has to be done with it. that
And
was
they're
the-
allowing, I'm sorry,
Colleen.
Joe, how much are they allowing?
Was that
How much are they allowing?
150,
That's a lot.
Darlene?
That's the parking lots near the new soccer fields that we can't use because there's no parking.
Yeah.
Okay,
It was other things, it was parking and some other things with it. I don't know if the items off the top of my head. That
oh,
went
no,
into
no, that's, I just want to make sure I
But yeah.
have the right spot.
Yeah,
That's
the
all.
idea is to get those fields up and running and everything else, get it all ready to go.
'Cause they look beautiful, but you can't use them.
Yeah,
Okay.
fencing, grading, things, whatever needs to be done. I don't know all the other details, but that's what it came out with. That was his
Okay.
number. We took it off the capital plan. They said we will get it based on the funding from the ARPA funds.
Hmm.
COVID-related funds dealing with parks that Lakeville got. So that's a good thing.
That is good.
Yeah,
Also on here, we had, we paid the Clear Pond basketball courts. Parking lot lights at Ted Williams. Oh, that was SPP, sorry about that. The Clear Pond bathhouse. Repairs to Ted Williams snack bar and playground equipment at Clear Pond. So you can see the Clear Pond's got a significant items on here for the capital plan. Those are the items that are on the plan.
what were we doing with the playground at Clear Pond? This is new to me.
Well, it has to be addressed down the road. That was for, I put that out there for 2025. For not knowing, but that equipment is, needs repair. We go get rid of it or something. It's a little bit of a safety issue, I think.
50 years old.
Yeah. And rusty and the whole 9 yards. So that was on the capital plan. That's what we put on there. Darlene.
That's also got to jump up a lot. That's going to be more money.
What?
20,000 is just the tip of the iceberg there.
Yeah, I mean, but this don't get, this
Equipment
is not
is
like the
very
Demise one,
expensive.
but yeah, a little scaled down. But
It's
you're right, you're right.
expensive.
Yeah,
It's
you're right.
expensive.
And maybe we can't afford it down the road.
It's
Maybe
got to,
too
because
much.
it's got to be inclusive. It's got to be special needs. It's got to be inclusive,
Yeah.
you know.
So that's something we have to think
There's
about
going to
down
be
the road.
a lot more to it, you know.
Yeah.
Okay,
So again, if you haven't seen, if you want to hold off on this vote, we can hold off on this one until you guys take a look at it, the latest and greatest. But like I said, that stuff came out this weekend. That stuff Nate and Franklin worked on.
Okay,
Follow up.
yeah. Who's fixing the fence that's still down in Clear Pond?
Not me, I know that. I won't be fixing any fence. Next,
Is that the town?
I know, I mean, those
Yeah,
two,
they
those
fixed
2 or
one.
3 sections
Yeah,
on the street you're talking about. I'm assuming the town will
Yes.
help us out with that.
there's no mention or work order or anything like that.
No work on it, nothing, no. Don't know how much it costs. Just- no. I'm sure they'll let us know, they'll get to that there, yeah, but nothing, I didn't ask anybody about the fencing there. Yeah. So if everybody hasn't had to look at the latest and greatest capital plan, we'll put that off as well till next time. Please take a look at it and comment on it. All right, we owe that to the town to move forward. All right, next item on the agenda here. Field use contracts and fees. I know we said we're gonna take a look at this in the off season. This is the off season. We did talk about changing some of the contracts, adding some verbiage. I don't know if anybody's had a chance to look at any of them. And any of the fees. Do we want to relook at the fees for the parks? Right now, we
At-
changed, yeah, we increased it, I think about 2 years ago. Right now, ballpark's like $20 a kid. We've walked into a couple seasons, but do we want to relook at those contracts? First of all, and then do we want to look at the fee structure? There's ways to raise money for the parks, but Paul, your hand up.
Yeah, I had 2 thoughts. One, I know we're gonna change the verbiage about bringing food trucks in on the contract, right? That was gonna be added. They were gonna
Okay.
tell us, they were gonna notify us that they're bringing in food trucks. That was one item we wanted on the contract. The other question is, if we charge $22 a participant, is that too much?
What is that based on? 10% increase.
Inflation.
Inflation rate's 2.9%, isn't it? Right now.
I don't know, but I know that things are more costly. So if we're being charged more, I think we need to be reimbursed. We have to do something.
I think one
And
thing we
I
have to take a
think-
look at, I know we charge some usage fees. I think we want to look at, and maybe think about for next meeting, the park usage fees. Like I said, we talked earlier, 16,000 for fertilizer. I don't know if we recoup that or not. It would be nice if we could send, push that back to the people using the fields to make that money back. But right now we don't. So something to think about.
So are we thinking about raising the fees for a participant or for field use, like so much, so much for each field, or,
No, I mean, right
you
now,
know,
Scott, go ahead.
Go
Mr.
ahead.
Chairman, we started instituting a fee a couple of years ago. I don't know where that's gone. But we did start charging a field usage fee on top of, based on, you know, on using the fields, trying to recoup some of these fertilizer and costs that we're spending. I think we need to ask Nellie about that, but I believe that was part of the contracts, that there was an additional fee.
Yeah, I don't think we've really gone after that. I haven't seen it in the contracts. It said there would be a fee, but we haven't really figured out how we're gonna do it, that I could tell. And again, you know, we say electricity, if you use electricity, you'll charge you for that, but I don't know
Yes,
if
we
we
do.
really keep those things.
We
That's what
charge them
it
for
says on some of the
electricity.
Says on the contracts, if you use the fields, the lights, you'll be charged electricity usage.
Right, and we charge them.
Yeah.
Maybe we do. I don't think we've
We
had
do.
much lately. I don't think we've had much lately. I know John Pond we did for blooper ball. We charged him for the lights. You know that. But-
We charged Little League for the use of the electric bill for the, what used to be the snack stand. And for the lights, you can check with Nellie on that.
So what I'd suggest is I'll have Nellie send the contracts out to everybody. Take a look at it. I think we want to change the boilerplate stuff on there. And maybe we might want to add some things on there, but this is our time to change them before the season starts. All right, and same thing, let's talk about if we want to raise fees or not. Maybe we do on some and not on others, I don't know. At one point, I know we talked last year, we never went anywhere. Do we want to increase fees for adults versus the kids? Don't know. Something to think about. But again, I don't think our fees are out of whack at all. I think we're kind of light on fees. Like I said, maybe we have to get more, make more money on the park itself. All right, so we'll send those out around to everybody. Hopefully, have the discussion next meeting on those. Next items, determine the date for the spring field use meeting. We always had that every year. We scheduled it in January for, I think, February timeframe. Do we even need it this time? Is it a useful meeting to have? I think Paula, you and Scott were involved in it last time. Do we even need to have that anymore? Or can we do it just by emails and a Zoom if we need it? Paula, Darlene, you might have been involved in that too. in the
I was
spring,
not.
weren't you?
I was not. That's why I know nothing about it. That's why I'm not saying anything.
I'm not sure either. What were we doing?
No, it was done before Darlene came on the board.
Okay, Paula, you were there then. We had that Saturday meeting. Every year we have a meeting in usually
Yeah.
the February timeframe. Coaches come and bring their schedules, and that's how we pull all the schedules together.
Right, I remember I was doing soccer and I think Nellie had people call in and took care of everything. Didn't you set everything up where you met people at the lodge? Is that the one? To
That's
go
the
over
one.
the contract?
It-
Yeah,
It's on our list of things to do in January to schedule this meeting, so that's why I'm bringing it up. Do we want to schedule a meeting, or do we think we even need it? Yeah,
Well, it was a
we
good way to
all
get
the
schedules and get stuff dropped off.
Did you feel it was successful last year, Joe? Because you were meeting with a bunch of people about contracts.
I mean,
Was that more helpful?
I think, because I had John Pond, I could do that just by emailing the groups myself. But I think the main part of it was down to Ted Williams. To have everybody bring their schedules, the baseball folks, the volleyball, whoever else, soccer. So I don't know if you guys think it's something we should have, or do you want to do it something different this year?
What do you want to do in place of that?
Again, I think we can just notify the coaches, have whoever's got responsibility for that sport, that person emails the coaches and they just send in their wants, their schedules.
Yeah,
If not, we can do it in person, but last time more people sent stuff in than showed up.
okay. And, well, do you think that if we change the contract or fees, that we're gonna have to meet with them, or do you think that we can just send the contract out with the the fee changes and the contract changes and email it like that?
I would like to see the contract changed by the end of January. Then we send those out to each of the teams. Say, hey, here's the new contract. When, let's talk schedules and handle it that way, if that makes sense.
I
But what
think
everybody
it's
wants.
reasonable.
The idea is just to get everybody, get all schedules at one time, so we know who, so we can set up the spring. The spring will be here before you know it. Some people start practicing in early April, I think.
Can
Yeah.
Nellie send out a group email to the groups and say, we need your schedules by February 1st, and then we can compile a spreadsheet where we have different sheets on there?
But we need to have the contracts first, because they're gonna see that. They're gonna know what we're putting out there. I think we need those first, and then send it to all the coaches. And some people, some of the leagues, I think some people have left. There was somebody who was running soccer. I don't think he's running it anymore. So I don't know if we know who his replacement is. Scott, you might know. All right. There's somebody that, Nelly mentioned some name, there's some guy who's no longer running soccer. I thought it was soccer.
Derek Loud is retired.
Yeah. So, we might want, it's nice getting FaceTime with people too. I don't mind a problem, meeting in person. If we think it's effective, we can do that again. I just want to know what everybody thinks.
I'm in favor of coming up with the change in the contract, changing the fees, and have Nellie email them to the teams. And if there's any need for discussion, they can contact us. Is that fair?
You gotta give them a deadline.
Yeah.
Because if you don't give them a
Yeah.
deadline when things gotta be in, that's why we had the meeting. That was the meeting deadline, was to bring things in. So
So if we get the contracts out by February 1st and emailed to them, is that a reasonable amount of time to get them back by the end of February? And hopefully they have a schedule?
If that works. Some teams don't have, Scott, some baseball teams don't have the schedule by then. Was that what Ken was saying? Or do they? There's
well,
some
they
issue
have
there.
they have a meeting the end of January.
Okay. So we should be all set then.
So by the end of February, they might, if they receive the contract and the changes, then they should be able to have a schedule also for us. Is that reasonable to assume?
So we'll send the contracts out to all of us, to take a look at them. We want to get a basic boilerplate for all of them. And then by different sports, we might have to do some different things. Because I revised those last year. Take a look at them. Next week meeting, we'll talk about the contracts themselves. And we'll see if any suggestions for possible fee changes. How's that?
Yeah.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
And after that, we'll determine the date for the spring meeting. How's that? Once we have the contracts, we'll send them out. Maybe it's the end of February, like you said, we'll pick a date, the end of February, where everybody gets together, brings us their schedules. We want to make sure we have their contracts in place this year before they step on the fields. So we have to let them know that we have to have that.
Well, that's the whole premise, was to not only get the contracts, but have the schedules and the money before they
Right.
get on the fields.
Right.
Because we
That's
gotta
why
have
I
the
think-
insurance contracts. We gotta have the binders.
Definitely. So that's what we'll have to do. Okay, so shoot for the end of February for that there, but let's, if you know some coaches want to reach out to them, let them know what's coming, go right ahead. Like I said, we'll work on the contracts, get them out to everybody, have the meeting, and we'll have a nice schedule. This year we'll have to have a schedule, make sure we have them all scheduled so we can put them in the lodge, in the office somewhere, so we know who's playing where and when, right? Right. Anything else on that?
So
Go ahead,
so we
Paul.
would be planning, I'm sorry, we'll be planning schedules and money before they get onto the field. That should be in by March. Would that?
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
We have to have signed contracts before they step on the fields. We get kind of lax on that, but I think we gotta tighten that up. All right. Okay, next one, review Clear Pond Park Director job description, any changes. I sent that out to everybody. I know last time we spoke, people mentioned that some of the things that are on there, that need to be on there. Has anybody had a chance to take a look at it?
I,
Paul?
Okay, I didn't see a starting salary on this director's job description.
It won't be on
Based on
there. We don't put that
experience.
on job description. That's the town determines that.
Okay, I just didn't know if you're looking for somebody, if you had to have that out. The other thing is, I really felt that the knowledge of approved life-saving methods, blah, blah, blah. We should also just say lifeguard certificate and rescue of swimmers. It was, I'm going over the items on the page of the job description, okay? That was one, and the other one, maintain and enforce proper safety rules. That whole line should include the Hemlock procedure. Hemlock.
A Heimlich,
Heimlich?
Thank you, I'm having a word issue today. The Heimlich procedure should be included on that when necessary, okay?
Isn't that part of basic first aid?
It may be, but I think it needs to be included.
so I guess, Paul, instead of you going down those, if you could just redline the one you have. You know what I'm saying? Redline the document you have. Why don't you send that around so everybody else can see? We can keep adding to it. Is that all right?
Okay. Yeah, there is one other thing, which is important. It's called, on the second page, it says schedules or plans, the lifeguard duties at Ted Williams Camp. I think we meant Clear Pond.
No, because
Yeah.
there are some functions that happen at Ted Williams Camp that they need to schedule a lifeguard for. We usually have 1 or 2 a year.
Really? Okay.
Yep.
So that's what it's referencing.
That's what it's referencing.
Okay, that was my confusion. I thought we were talking about Clear Pond director's job.
We are, but they're in charge of the lifeguards. So there were 2 functions. The Mitchell Club used to have a function. They didn't have it last year, obviously, where they want people to be able to go swimming. So they pay for 2 lifeguards because we have to have 2. So they would pay for 2 lifeguards, but we would schedule them through the directive, because he or she has all that information and the contacts with our lifeguards.
Okay,
And there was another function that used to be at Ted Williams Camp, and they paid for, it was one of the big corporate ones. I don't know if they've come back or what. But they used to come and they would pay for a lifeguard, and there might be half a dozen people go swimming, but and it would just get scheduled throughout, we would give them the dates and they would schedule 2 lifeguards to come down there. That's all.
I see. Yeah, I'd never realized that anybody was swimming over there, but okay. And the other one was safe serve certificate for the post Board of Health certificate. Oh yeah, we have to post the Board of Health certificates along with the opening the concession, and have the safe serve certificate also.
So Paul, once again, I'm not taking all, writing all this down here. So
Yeah.
if you don't mind, just redline the one you have and send it to all of us. How's that? If anybody
Okay,
wants to add
this
anything,
is on-
after you send it to us, we'll take a look at what you added and we can finalize it next time. Because we want to get this
Okay.
posted. We want to get it in HR's hands next. They can accept it, review it, then we got to get the thing out there. We don't want to wait too late to get some buzz going on this position.
Okay, one other question was, did I read somewhere that they had to be 18 or over to apply for the position? Is that what this director's job said? I think that's what I read somewhere.
Maybe it's on there. I have no idea. I don't think we want a
Do you
director
think
less than 18 years
18?
old.
Pardon me?
I don't think we want a director that's younger than 18 years old.
That's what surprised me. And I read it and I said, this is an awful lot of responsibility if somebody's 18 years old. So I was thinking, if I see it again on here, I'm going to ask for 21 years of age. Is that, oh, here it is on the left. Experience in training must be at least 18 years of age on the last page.
Okay.
Can we agree to change that to at least 21 or 20? I mean, that's a big responsibility, I think, for an 18-year-old.
Right, red line, we'll see. Red line it and send it on, see what you want to do. Everybody will take a look at it,
All right.
all right? But yeah, I'd like to get that ironed down at the end of January, so we can get that out now to HR and then we can get to go ahead to post it, okay?
All right.
So I'll make sure that if you could start that one, Paula, that'd be great. Send it around to everybody. Next one, we'll review the plan for Clear Pond Park. Any fees and restrictions? Any ideas, proposals we can throw around?
So are we talking about the gate fee? Or the season pass?
All fees and restrictions. Yep. Just so what the last year, what we were, because we were short in time, we had $80 it was, right? Season pass was 80 and the door was what, $5, $8, whatever it was.
Yep.
So I guess the point is, we have talked about, do we want to be open 7 days a week? Does it make sense to only be a reduced number of days? I don't know. So we gotta look at that, the hours, any fee changes, and what restrictions. Last year we did the residents only. Didn't pan out as well we would have hoped. So what do we want to do there? Only thing I'll say, looking at some of the data, the opportunities at the gate fees. I mean, you know, people from non-residents are paying, would pay at the gate, and that's where we made a lot of money in the past, over 20 grand just out the gates. Some parties was another thing we got rid of, sort of. We didn't have parties, but those groups pay money as well. Maybe we raise the fees on the groups if we have them. I don't know, but
We did
lot of
have a
things we
couple
didn't
birthday
have.
parties.
What was
There,
that?
there was a couple birthday parties that took place this past year. But I mean, I think that, you know, we open it up, Middleborough, Freetown, go non-residents, $120 for a season pass, keep residents at 80.
How are we justifying adding 2 towns?
Freetown, because we go to school with Freetown Lakeville. That's the justification for that. Because they go to Aponequid High School and Freetown Elementary. And Middleborough,
The
since we
pool.
can use the pool.
So, but those are those restrictions. Freetown, their pool was residents only. I thought we couldn't go to that. So I mean, I just don't want to just throw out names. Is there going to be an increase of funds, of revenue for us? It's nice to throw out the towns. They're close to us. Big deal. Again, what is that going to do us? Allowing 2 more towns. You can have other towns hitting us on social media that they don't like what we're doing, like last year. So I don't want to just throw out 2 towns and say, let's get those guys. What's it going to buy us? And it's a logistics nightmare, could be, for the kids at the gate. You got to check now if there's someone from Lakeville, Freetown, Middleborough. I don't know. I just think we need some discussion on why. Darlene, you get your hand up.
Well, the only thing I was going to add, you started the conversation with, you know, do we open 7 days a week? And I think that just depends on staffing, Joe. If you can have enough people that want to work and you have enough lifeguards, I mean, that was part of the problem before. If you didn't have help, you can't open the gate, 1. And 2, personally, I prefer residents only. That's just me. But I'm only 1 vote.
I mean, 2 of the slow days are Mondays and Tuesdays from the data we've seen over the last couple of
Then you
years.
gotta go- Then it rains Wednesday and Thursday, like,
Well,
oh man, we should have been open Monday
yeah,
and Tuesday.
It
No, I'm
happens.
just throwing that out there,
Yeah,
you know?
I hear you, but I don't, I'm just saying, I'm just looking at numbers. We staffed a lot of Mondays and Tuesdays, or those slow days. So, yeah, we're paying the kids to stand there. That's all.
Yeah, I do think Monday and Tuesday is just not necessarily, and it's very difficult to find a director at $20 an hour that's going to work 7 days a week.
Right.
So,
There's a lot of issues.
yeah, and I'm okay with keeping it residents only as well, but everybody's always complaining that it doesn't make any money, and that's the problem with that. I mean, that's the only recommendation. I mean, if we want to keep it residents only, I'm fine with that too, but in a way to increase the money, that was, you know, when I thought about it, that is the justification for Freetown Middleborough, just to raise some more revenue, but
We have
that's really
numbers,
not that important.
but we have numbers that show if we open up the Freetown and Middleborough, we're gonna gain 50 heads or 50 passes. Do we have that? We need to base things on
Where
data.
do how do we know that? I mean,
and just one other
yes,
thing.
it's going to
Somebody
increase.
did mention that the park director has to be there 7 days. They can't be because they're only getting paid for 40 hours. So they're not there 7 days, 8 hours a day each day. So the director's not there that full time. We don't
So you're
pay him-
saying that
we don't pay more
so
than
you're
40
saying
hours.
Clear Pond can be open. Your Clear Pond can be open then without the director being there. Then that's possible.
In the past, they've had like a head lifeguard. Scott, you're gonna say something?
That's what I was gonna say. In the past, it's been open 7 days a week. Your director has not been there 7 days, maybe 7 days, but not for a full day. They may be in for 2 hours on they may be in for 4 or 5 hours on a Saturday or a Sunday and in for 2 hours on Monday and 2 hours on Tuesday. They adjust their schedule. They were never there 70 hours a week. They may have been there 6 or 7 days, but a few hours here and a few hours there. It was a salaried position based on a 40-hour pay scale. That's what it was.
I'm fine with that.
The other thing, going back to add on what Darlene said, that's exactly why you went to 5 days, because you didn't have the lifeguards.
Well, I'm fine as long as we're making that clear that that the expectation is that the director does work a 40-hour week, that the expectation is they don't have to be there from when the gate opens to when it closes, is that we are going to have a head lifeguard take on that role. And it's okay for the park to be open when the director's not there. I'm fine with that. Absolutely.
That's the way it's always been.
Well, I think that expectation when Jesse was director over the past year, I don't think that he felt that way. I think he felt that he needed to be there every minute of every day.
Well, I mean, the job description said based on a 40-hour work week. No one told him he had to be there every day and extra hours.
Okay. Well, I guess then it's just we also had a lifeguarding shortage. And going into this year, I don't know what the future holds, but I would expect that everybody's having difficulty finding workers, that we might want to consider that it might be difficult to find lifeguards this year as well.
Well, then we may have to schedule less days.
Right.
Paula.
Yeah, we were open at Clear Pond a total of 32 days. And that was 6.5 weeks with rain days included. And that we also have an issue where we're going to have coverage. We don't know how many lifeguards we're going to get. The basis for cutting down the 7-day park hours was because we didn't have enough lifeguards. We had just enough to be open for 5 days. One of the things that we can look at is asking HR to advertise at the colleges for park and recreation programs for a director, okay? Perhaps, I know that some of those students will take summer jobs, especially if they have the experience. And if it's a 40-hour week, and then say, for instance, the park's only open 4 days that week because of rain and whatever, that particular intern could also learn out of Nellie's office by giving her help. So you would be using her mostly at the parks, but in the days that he or she was not available, there's no reason why they can't work in other areas of the park as an intern.
No, we would not have that. We're not set up for that, Paula. It's if they're gonna be the directors, if it rains, they don't get paid, they don't, nothing that day. We don't reassign them somewhere else. It's not part of the job description.
Well, no,
We wouldn't be
but
doing
it's a
that.
thought that we could be, because we would be making use of extra help that we need. And I know Nellie needs extra help, so
Right, now,
why not
Nellie-
use an intern?
Nellie has not mentioned she needs extra help for anything. And again, we just wanna, if we're gonna hire someone for director, they're gonna be doing director stuff.
All right, so.
I mean, with the pay rates and all that, it's just, we wouldn't be able to,
really can't-
pull that one off. Some say with the town.
Well, we have to open it for discussion with HR. The other question is, if we don't have enough lifeguards to staff, it's only at that time that we'll be able to know how many days we can open. And we're not there yet. We have to advertise, we have to know how many, we have to advertise early. We have to see how many attendants we get, which we only need 4. And also how many lifeguards we can get. If we have the same problem as last year, it's a big problem. So
So
we
the
can't really
lifeguards
say
you
how
had
many
last year.
days. Huh?
Sorry about that, Paula. The lifeguards you had last year, did anybody ask them if they'd be returning? If anybody, we want to reach out to them?
I think there might be a couple returning. Yeah, a couple, I think will return. The attendants, I don't know if any of them will return, but luckily we had 5 from the old colony, which would be a nice place to advertise for attendance again. But until we know how many we can staff, we don't know how many days we can be open. It's a real, it's just a real quandary.
So what time, when
And-
should we reevaluate the lifeguard job descriptions? I'm assuming they're okay. Should we look at those as well? And I nose
I
down to
think
get those things out, open this thing
I
up?
think that was pretty, pretty clear with the lifeguards. The only thing with the lifeguard position is that HR has to point out that there's not 2 weeks vacation in 6 weeks or 8 weeks.
No
You know,
vacation.
No.
right. And that's something that we need to know before somebody starts working. They can't, you know, it's very hard to plan when you hire someone and then they go to the director and say, I need 2 weeks off. I mean, we can barely cover what we have, and this happens apparently every year. So I think HR needs to look at that and make it clear that there are no vacation times in the 8 or
Yeah, but
10 weeks.
I think we have to look at the fact
9
that we're not
weeks.
gonna get lifeguards for 40 hours. We're gonna, if you need 4 lifeguards, you're gonna have to hire 6, 7, whatever, so they fill in the times. These kids are not working 40 hours, period. So I think we have to go in there knowing that. Maybe they're gonna give us a minimum 20 hours and go from
Yeah.
there. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but it's
I
tough
think
to
we
hire
had
people
1
in
or
40
2
hours.
I think we had, Tony, maybe Tony remembers. I know we had 1 that worked 40 hours last summer. But
That's
he comes
rare though.
back
I
every
think
year.
Joe's right. I think Joe's right is that it really comes down to if we can take a look at the job descriptions, get those posted as soon as possible. Then we can get this out onto social media to, you know, have some of the people that are interested in working for the summer, you know, either start to email me or yourself so that we can start to make a list and then hone it down by May.
Yeah.
You
What
know,
if we, just some,
By the end of April, we have to have lifeguards signed up. We need to start that in March.
but what if we took to go on what Tony's saying, get the job description, you know, put it out there. Maybe they can do 10 hours, 20, 30, 40, but there's some flexibility. Maybe someone says, hey, I'll do it. I'll give you 10 hours a week. Okay. Someone else might take it and say, I'll give you 30. We work that way. You might be able to get more because a lot of these kids have other jobs. The lifeguard somewhere else, hey, I'll fill in Clear Pond.
Yeah.
And maybe we gotta be more flexible and not look for 40 hours.
I
Scott?
think the
sorry,
earlier
Tony?
that we get it out, the better. And that gives, because kids, you know, around April, May, they're looking, what are they going to do for the summer? If we get a jump on that and we can get some commitments with, you know, even if it's more people, we can start to fill in these hours, and then that can change, you know, how many days we're going to open. We can go, maybe we can get to that 7 days, which is ideal. I'd love to see it open 7 days a week. You know, you have those rain days where unfortunately you have to close, but I think having that option open for the townspeople is a great option. You know, if it's, you got a string of nice weather for 14 days, great. I love bringing my kids down there for a couple hours. That's the goal, is to have it open as much as possible, but we really have to do that legwork in the beginning to get the staff in, because that is always the challenge. If we're scrambling on June 25th to get the last lifeguards in, it's going to be very difficult to have it open 7 days a week.
Right, well, I couldn't agree with you more.
Scott,
The
go ahead.
sooner we do it.
Joe, can you take a look at the calendar as to when we had penciled in, looking at these, not just the director, but we're looking at the director's job description. We should be following it up with the lifeguard and the maintenance and getting those looked at also, so that, because if we make changes to them, okay, it's got to go before the Board of Selectmen, if I'm not mistaken. If we make changes to the job description, okay?
Yes, yeah.
And then it's gonna go through their meeting process and then come back to us. So if we're gonna make changes, we've got to do it now, and it's gonna take a month before they're ready to go. And then, like Paula and everyone else has said, we got to get it out there. Because
Yeah.
then we got to get the answers back, and then we got to look at them, and we got to hire people. It's gonna take a process. And I think if you look at that schedule, it says starting in January, February, to reevaluate any changes and then start getting the information out there for the jobs. Because just like last year, as Tony and everyone else said, what lifeguards were available got snapped up early, and we were left looking.
I mean, that's why I brought it up now, because that's why I put it on the schedule. For January, it is review job posting for director and review prices and staff requirements. That's in January. Job posting for the director is in February. So that's why I'm bringing it up here. We have to act on it. You gotta get, and then in March, it says post the seasonal jobs, hire the director. So those are two things in March. So you gotta do all that beforehand. So yeah, that's why it's on the agenda for us to do that. Without a doubt, I think it's a good idea. I think we need to look at to your point, we need to look at the lifeguard job description as well as the director, get them finalized the end of this month, and get some flexibility for the lifeguards. And maybe send it to some places where, who knows, the pools, so health clubs, wherever, somebody might want to do it. But I wouldn't go after 40 hours. I think we have to get flexibility and see what they say.
We can
I don't
advertise for
think-
40 hours. We
That
can
doesn't say-
advertise for 40 hours, but if we get somebody that wants to do 20, we'll take them, right?
Yeah, but I think we need to put it out there that we'll entertain 10, 20, 30, or 40.
Okay,
Not just post, it has to be
All right.
40, because that might discourage kids who have a job somewhere else. That want to fill in on
Okay.
a weekend or something. That's all.
yeah, that's
But whatever
reasonable.
works, whatever can get it. But I think we gotta start it ASAP. Get it going.
Can we say that we'll have the final edits on job descriptions, Paula, by,
The next
the-
meeting. How
Okay.
about the next meeting?
Directive's
Okay.
got to be next meeting.
Okay.
Yeah,
But again, remember, if we make edits, it's then got to go to the selectmen to be voted on, and it's
Right.
more time.
yeah,
Yep.
so that means they don't
Are
act
these-
on it until when, February, the selectmen? Or do they meet once a week?
I'm not sure.
They give me 2 weeks I know they're meeting tonight, so I think it's every 2 weeks. But we're gonna pass it by HR. HR is gonna have a hand, that goes to that person first. We go from there. I think, but if we base it on facts that we want, I think it'd be okay. But I think, like I said, I think we gotta be flexible with lifeguards. Let's scour places that have people who have lifeguards. I don't know what these places are, health clubs, YMCA's. I don't know, anywhere.
The colleges too, that we
Wherever.
posted.
But it's gonna be tough to get someone who wants to work every weekend in the summer. That's all. It is what it is. So if they can share half, 4 hours a day with someone else, split it, whatever it is. I think we gotta get creative. Because I don't see it being any different than last year, availability of lifeguards. I just don't see it. I think we're gonna have a tough time getting them.
Can I just ask one question of the group? What's the feeling on if you have a director and they're not gonna be there more than 40 hours a week? Is it reasonable, or is it any kind of liability involved with getting a senior lifeguard to cover?
We've done
I
that
don't
in the
know that
past.
answer.
We've
Well,
done that
last
in the
year it
past.
didn't happen. Last summer it didn't
No.
happen.
But prior years it did.
Yeah.
I'm
is
working
that
7 days a
acceptable?
week. Doug wasn't there 56 hours a week. He counted on his head lifeguard. Now, do we have someone that we consider a head lifeguard? they gotta be, knowledgeable and experienced. I don't know if we had that last year. So
We
that's
did
another
have
thing.
somebody there. We did have a young man that was very dependable and very knowledgeable, but Jesse was there every day, every time the park was open. So there was no problem with, really needing an extra person to step in. But then again, we were not open 7 days a week, so.
All right, so the takeaway, if you guys start looking at the job description for next meeting, how's that? And it's identify places that we can tap into for some lifeguards and the directors too. Do we have to hit the schools for the teachers? I don't know if anybody's got anything in at some of the schools, if they want to get this job description out to the schools once we get it finalized. And start it now so they can plan their summer. Maybe we get 2 directors. They work 20 hours and 20 hours. I don't know, something to think about. They can share a position again.
Yeah.
Something to think about, but I think we gotta get creative. But I think it's gonna be tough to get someone who wants to work 40 hours a week in the summer, including all their weekends.
And that's a problem.
All right, so if you guys don't mind, Tony, Paul, if you guys want to start the ball on that there, what you guys know about the position, and then forward to the rest of us, and we see what we can do. We can tap into people we might know. But I think they gotta look at schools. School teachers are a good area to tap into, see if anybody's available and wants to do it. But maybe we go after 2 of them. You could be a 20-hour a week position or a 40-hour week position. Something to think about. All
I
right,
think we had a lot of candidates last year, but a lot of them didn't have certificates. There were a few that wanted to work part-time, but they weren't qualified. I think that came up. So maybe this year.
I think if we nail down the job description a little bit better, then we won't have the confusion we had last time. And I said, I think we can look at, just a suggestion, maybe look at 20 hours if somebody wants it. If you get 2 directors and they have to split duties, they want that. Just an option. I know there's one person last year, I think they wanted only 20 hours.
Yeah.
All right. All right, so that's that for that one. Let's moving right along here. We're getting a little long in the tooth here. Next one, I put a thing on here for improvement items for possible external funding. I know we're going after some, maybe the gift account as well as some HCA money. I just want to make sure that we are focused on what we want to do. I like to prioritize a list of things that we want to go after. And I'd say for improvements for the parks. And I can't stress that enough, improvements. Again, I think the playground is a great improvement there. I hope we can get a ton of cash. That would be great. I think if we can make that a showpiece, I think it'd be pretty slick. Same thing for the nature trail. If we can bring that back to improve it the way it was, I think it'd be a nice benefit for all of us. Other things like that. So I think we need to focus on improvement activities for when we get this external funding, whether the gift account or any other fundings we're going to have. Just so they're on the same page, so we can get, like I said, it should not supplement the budget. It should be something to improve the parks. I don't know if anybody's got any discussion on that one at all, but I think that's what we gotta look at. Darlene.
I am actually working with somebody, working on, looking at grant money for the playground for Ted Williams Camp to make that equipment inclusive. We would have called that special needs equipment years ago, but now it's considered inclusive equipment, and it would be obviously safer. I've also got somebody who's going to go look at the equipment. I connected with somebody who knows somebody in the state. They'll look at what's there and assess that, because it's probably not safe anymore, what is in that park. So it would need to come out. I know that there's been some, money donated to the Alex Gamache Playground. There's about $3,200 in that account now, but that's nowhere near enough money for playground equipment. So if we could get some grant money, that would be crazy and good. And we do have the Eagle Scout that is going to work on the fitness trail. So that's pretty much going to be done. He's got $2,000 right now that the DiCarlo family has donated. So that money's sitting in an account to help him offset that. And he needs to fundraise for that as part of his Eagle Scout project. So those 2 are going to go forward and be done, and be beautiful.
Scott.
Is the Eagle Scout gonna come to a meeting and ask us permission and tell us what he's gonna do?
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, he's pretty much looked at the project. He knows what it is. He's put his paperwork in. He's waiting for approval. It doesn't look like it's going to be a problem with the Eagle Scout. They have to approve the project, make sure it's worthy and, you know, meets all the right criteria and what have you. That's the fitness trail. I mean, yes, I'm sure he'd be willing to come to a meeting, but you
I
basically,
mean, that's the way it's always been done in the past, is they come and ask us.
I mean, I don't think it's going to be an ask. I think it's going to be more, this is what I'm going to do. I don't think it's necessary, in my opinion, that he asked, but whatever the committee wants is fine.
Yeah.
with me.
To Scott's point, I think, yeah, I'd like to see his plans before he starts, and it would be nice if he joined the meeting just to talk to us about it.
That wouldn't be a
Well,
problem.
Even
Yeah.
just introduce himself to us would be
Oh,
nice.
yeah, as soon
I'd
as,
like
as
to-
soon as he gets the formal letter that says, yes, you can do this project, it's approved, then we'll go from there.
Yeah, we'd like to see what his plans are for it, without a doubt.
Yeah. Basically clean it up and put it back together, is, you know.
Just a question to Darlene, who's writing a grant for this?
Well,
equipment?
I'm still in the homework part of it, trying to find the money so that we can write the grant to ask for the money. This is just
Oh,
new. Yeah. You know, if it works out, and it could be something that could work for Clear Pond Park too, who knows? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know, I have to start somewhere.
Is there
looking for the
someone
money
in
now.
town hall?
Say it again?
Is there someone, I'm sorry, is there
No,
someone
no,
in
no,
town
no, it's an
hall
out,
that
it's an
writes
it's an
grants?
outside person. No, nobody with the town hall. No. A friend.
No, I thought there was somebody in the town hall that wrote grants for the
I'm
town,
su-
so I was
oh.
gonna ask.
Oh, I'm sure there is.
In case, yeah,
Yeah.
and if that's the case, maybe that's something we can look at for Clear Pond,
Sure.
because
I'll
we
let you know
need,
how I make
new
out on
equipment.
my. Sure.
okay,
So anyway, we
Thank
just
you.
have a little, but my point of this item here was just identify what improvement activities we see in the parks that we could get funding for. I think Demise Playground and the nature trail are key for that, but there's other things we might want to add for improvements, not maintaining anything, but what kind of improvements we're gonna make for the park. Just throw out a couple off the top of my head, lighting and benches over there by the bocce court would be nice. Be a nice improvement to add that sport, if you will, or that activity, things like that. So I think we want to look at things we want to do in case funding comes available to go
Mhm.
after. So we're all on the same page. So be thinking about items you want to do for improvements. Yeah, so that's all on that one.
Joe, do you know of any improvement? I'm not sure, I didn't walk the trail around Clear Pond. There's a trail, and I guess years ago they used to walk around it, and then they got overgrown and stuff. I've never walked it, but is that an area that we should be considering opening up, cleaning up?
I don't
You
know,
know.
I've never been around there. I don't know what shape it's in or anything. So I guess if someone take a look around and see is it still a good walking path? I don't know.
Yeah, well, I've
And-
seen
and
people
maybe-
come in, but I don't know.
And maybe
where they
see how
came
long
in
it is,
from.
so we can even advertise that if it's, 0.75 miles or something like that, we can advertise that we have a trail here that's, how long it is if you want to go there. I don't know. But I don't know anything about that trail. I hear there's one around there. That's all. I've never seen it.
Yeah,
Scott?
it needs to be cleared out. I mean, that would be something that if we had a day there, another cleanup day, that we would have to have a group volunteer to clear that out.
Scott?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I believe the last time it was renovated was a Boy Scout project. And then after that, it was somewhat maintained by the staff. The attendants and what have you would go out and clean it up as they could. But that was years and years ago. So yeah, it's probably in pretty tough shape.
Do you remember how long the trail is?
I want to say approximately a mile
Oh,
from the basketball court. It goes all the way around, comes out into the parking lot. And then if you come back up to the beach, if you kind of make a circle, it's almost a mile or close to a mile.
okay.
So it would be nice to know about that and see what kind of work it needs. If somebody wants to volunteer to walk it and see what we got, it'd be
Sure.
nice. But like I said, just some possible things we can do for that, for any improvement money that's available. All right, next item, items from the clerk. I do have 3 items from Nellie. People things she got, so I will review, I'll go over those for us. Item number 1 is from the Assawamsett Elementary School. They are requesting the use of Ted Williams parking lot on the following Wednesdays, April 13th and May 18th, from 9:50 in the morning to 11:30 in the morning. There's a concert, I guess, at Assawamsett, so they want the parents to park there and they'll be shuttled back to and forth from the school. So, they were just asking for approvals from us to allow them to use the parking lot on those 2 days.
I'd
Does
like to
anybody
make a
have any?
motion, we allow them to use the parking lot.
Second,
Yes, is there a second? There's a second, any discussion?
Well, is there anything scheduled on those days that's gonna prevent them from parking?
It's a Wednesday and the parking lot's over there by the police station, so then no one's using the area right at that time.
Okay,
So, anybody got any problems with that? Anybody, let's see if everybody says, Darlene, how do you feel about that?
yes,
Tony,
Yes,
Paula,
I second the motion, yes.
and Scott?
Yes,
Okay, they'll allow them to use the parking lot. Item number 2, there is a wedding party on September 9th, Friday, September 9th. They're gonna be using the Loon Pond Lodge, but they want to use the field down by across near the new fields across from the water there, that little field that we allowed somebody to play soccer in. Sometimes it gets a little wet there, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, the
September
practice
should be
field.
fine.
The little field on the right. They just want to be able to use that field. They want to bring in, they're gonna use it for like 20, 25 minutes, about 120 people. They're gonna have some chairs, a DJ. They're gonna drive a vehicle down there for the DJ to get his stuff in and out of there, and they like to have a golf cart. They're gonna bring that in so they can drive down from the reception to the field itself. If that's something we would allow, so we can let them know, they can work on fees after that. But is that something we'd be okay with? Scott?
Mr. Chairman, just want to let them know that even though it may be dry, I wouldn't drive on that grass.
Yeah, they just want to bring equipment down in a
Well,
vehicle.
that's what I'm saying. If they want
Yeah.
to bring equipment down, that shouldn't be a problem. We'll just have to unlock the gate. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't drive on the lawn. I would specify that because it has a tendency to be soft, even if it appears to be dry.
Okay, good. So does anybody have a problem with them working to use that field down there? Nellie will get with them. This is just preliminarily to see if we allow them to use it, to have a wedding outside there in September. Okay, I'll tell her to move forward with that with them. The next item from the clerk is another one here. There on April 10th, 2022, there's a cycling race going on during the day. The attendance is estimated at 250 to 300 cyclists plus family members and guests of the cyclist. They want to know if there's anything going on in the parks, because they want to use the parks for that race. There would be a fee involved. They're gonna use Loon Pond Lodge as well, but I think there's gonna be a fee that we would charge. I think in the past, there was a $5 participation fee for each of the riders that we charged. So that's April 10th. If we don't have a problem with that, Scott?
I believe last year we increased that fee to $750.
Okay,
That's what the triathlon paid.
okay. I'll get with Nellie just so she can look that up there, but they were just asking if that they could do that. I'll have Nellie follow up with them saying it's okay to do. Darlene?
I would
Yeah.
assume the tavern has nothing going on that day, or,
It looks like they're gonna be using the tavern as well. They're gonna be using that.
right, so they're already set with that.
Yeah, they're already set up with them, but I'd have her verify there. They're just gonna be using the rest of the park as well. So there's a fee, just like the Tri-Fest, whatever, there's a fee for the participants, so
Okay.
we'll follow up with that as well.
What was the date? Was it April?
April 10th, yeah. So those are the 3 items from the clerk, so I'll give those to Nellie and we can move forward from there. All right. Old business, the orientation information. I thought we accepted that already. That was done last time,
No.
was that Paula?
No, you were gonna look at it and some people hadn't looked at it, and then Nellie had to post it on in email because some people couldn't get into Google Doc.
Did you guys see that
So
already?
it
I mean, I saw
never
that there, so it's okay with me, no problem. Darlene, did you see it?
I think I did. It would have been a while ago, not recently.
About a month or so, about 2 months ago, probably, right? We haven't met
Well,
in a
we've been
month. So-
talking about it for 3 months, but I don't think that we came to a decision as to accepting it as written.
Scott, did you see it?
Yeah, I looked at it. I was gonna talk to Paula about a couple of small edits just to clarify some stuff. But I couldn't edit it myself, so, of course, that's sitting on my desk.
So Paul, could you follow up with Scott this week, later this week then, just so we get those edits and be all done with it?
Yeah, okay,
Right, just follow up with him, then we can move this thing along. Darlene's okay, I'm okay with Tony, I don't know if he's okay with it, but if you get all the
I looked
input,
at it.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you, Paula, for all that work.
just follow up,
You're
get Scott's
welcome.
input and move along with that. All right? Next one,
Yep.
update on the Demise Playground and Nature Trail. I think you just did that, Darlene, but anything else you
Yep.
want to say?
Nope.
What are we looking for timing on the Demise Playground to get any improvements? Is it gonna be this spring, do you think?
I'm hoping it's gonna be reopening spring, early summer. I'm hoping. Fingers crossed.
Okay, that could be going. That'd be a
Equipment.
nice one. Now, when would
Even
the,
if well, even if I don't have new equipment, the sign is ready, okay? They have to build up cement blocks or whatever, the stonework they're gonna do to put it on. I took care of that today too. And so I think once the sign is ready and I get some plantings in there, even if I don't have new equipment, I'd still like to do some kind of opening to get people excited about going back there and maybe motivate people to donate money for equipment. Who knows, so.
can we get it landscaped and weeded, obviously, before the opening?
Well,
It
like
needs
that's,
that.
I've got $1,500 from the pot money, so for that, so.
Yeah, but is that for the weeding part of it, or?
That's for plantings and weeding, so that's gonna be some volunteers and, spending some money on some plants, yes.
Right. You might want to tap into that before the baseball season starts,
Yeah,
just to get some volunteers and all that. Maybe some of the coaches want some of their teams
Yeah.
to volunteer. Maybe get some of the kids on the teams to volunteer.
need some service hours too.
Yeah, so you might want to see if we can reach out to some of the Ken Lally group or some of the
Yeah.
other baseball, Feed Lake Baseball, wherever it is.
Cub Scouts are always looking for service hours.
There you
Got it.
go.
Writing it down. Thanks, Scott.
Put them to
Yep.
work, And don't forget the Girl Scouts. There must be Girl Scouts out there too.
Yep, got it.
So, that'd be nice. Anything else on the playground and nature trail?
Same thing, $1,500 for plantings for that too. You
And
know.
how much does he have to raise? Is there a set amount, how much they raise when they do projects?
He has to fundraise. He didn't tell me how much he had to fundraise, but he does have to fundraise for it.
All right.
That's
The
all.
thing we have to keep an eye on, I know if there was another one, the sign on, what was it, 18, okay, for the parks. There was a Boy Scout project who did that sign and all, but
Yep.
some of it needs some painting, touching up there. We should make sure that stuff gets done, when it needs to, what I'm saying? It's nice that they do these projects, but we don't follow up keeping it, the upkeep, you know what I'm saying?
We don't maintain.
So I think we have to make sure we start doing that and keeping that in mind when we have a project, yearly, we should maintain things, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why I think every year we should go through all the buildings on Parks property and assess them. What needs to be done? They need to be painted, things like that, instead of letting things go. I think we need to start looking at that, but that, like I said, that sign was nice, but part of it needs to be painted. You can't even read a part that's on there now.
Gotcha.
That's all, little things to it,
Mhm.
Same thing, the bocce court, I think was a sculpt project too, wasn't it?
Yes.
So, I mean, once again, Bob did a nice job weeding it, but those boards on the south side could be upgraded, be nice. So things like that we should keep an eye on,
Yep.
So, also, Darlene, if you could just give an update on the HCA contribution of funds available.
Well-
Does money come up quarterly, yearly, monthly, whatever it is, or how does stuff come up to that group?
Well, it comes up by the date that they've made the agreement. So, they could kind of come in, money could come in random, you know what I mean, to the town. But then the town puts a committee together and decides how to spend the money. So our board is going to have $4,500 because that's what Franklin said they needed to fix the Clear Pond parking lot. So there'll be stone and gravel there. And then $1,500 for flowers, plantings for one park, and $1,500 for the nature trail. That's where we are today.
Now, just one thing, when I was talking to someone the other day on this here,
Mhm.
like Clear Pond Park, when they walk from, and again, I don't go there, so I don't really know. When people walk from the parking area to the snack shack or going up there, whatever, they walk where the cars are driving through, right? So I know Nellie brought this up. I thought it was a pretty good idea to think about. Why don't we make a little stone walkway around the area? So it's not a safety hazard with people walking in where cars are going by. You know what I'm saying? Make a stone path or whatever we do with stone. So that's safe for the people to walk around. Plus, it'll be a dry thing as well. But it'd be nice if we maybe made a walking area from the parking lot up past where the entrance is. Because it does get, it's some mud there now, but people are driving and walking the same spot. So we should see if we get a path around there. I think there's enough room around there to make something around there.
There's probably enough,
something
and there's
to think
probably
about.
enough money to do that too.
So I'll mention to Franklin, but I think Nellie had the idea. I'm going to give her credit for it. But I thought it was something to think about because it's two birds with one stone. You get the safety issue, plus you get the area where people want to walk and don't want to step in it when the ground is wet. So
I'll make a note of that and I'll mention that to Franklin.
because they might have some idea what they can do. It might be maybe it will be least expensive. Who knows? Scott.
Expanding on that, if you go to the right of the parking lot, the land goes up. There's a slight incline there on the hill, and it would also be kind of cutting a shortcut to the beach. If we cut something through behind where the lifeguards would park,
Okay.
if they walk that way, now you're taking them out of the driveway, and they're walking. It shouldn't be too much to take out a few trees and some bushes and put in some stone, and it would be much higher than the parking lot. Thus, it would be drier.
Something to think about, but I mean, it's just an option. I thought it was a good idea. Yeah, I mentioned that. But I want to give her credit for that. It was not me, sir.
Oh, and it'd be, somebody that knows what they're talking about should really ask Franklin about it. I don't know enough about it.
Yeah, I just think we got to give them options. That's all. Something
Yeah.
to think about. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
So.
Okay.
And also, one other thing, I know, Tony, I think you were going to take care of it. That sign is still hanging there. Is anyway, who's going to be putting that sign back up? Did anybody get a commitment from anybody? It's still hanging there, right? The clip-on sign?
Yeah, that will be done before Clear Pond opens.
All right. Is there any way it can be secured before now? I mean, that wind is getting it. It was moving pretty good the other day. As heavy as it is, I hate my fears it might just break all together and come down. That's all.
I'll try to get by there.
I'll-
I need a ladder to get up the top of it.
Darlene.
I'm gonna call Franklin tomorrow anyway, so I'll just mention the sign and see what he said. Maybe he'll fix it.
Yeah, it'd be easy if you had a little bucket truck to do it. Might be done in 10 minutes,
I'll just throw it out there, okay?
All right.
Yeah, well,
Anything else? Oh.
Well, again, Darlene, if you're saying that, then also the fence, I don't know if that's on their
I'll mention
radar.
that at the same time, Tony.
Yeah,
Okay.
they know about that. It'll be
I
getting- it's not on their-
I can throw it out there. It doesn't
not
matter.
on their high on their list right now, but they realize that down on the street there. You did notice they did take that cracked tree down. They had Viva Tree Work come in and get it out of there for us, which is awfully nice of them.
Yeah.
So,
They
and I
took down
know,
a lot of trees. They cleared out a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
all right, anybody get anything else? We got some activities to do between now and next meeting. I'll go down through the list with Nellie this week to make sure maybe we'll send it out on who can do what, but I think we really need to do stuff before next meeting so we can move things along. And like I said, I think we really got to get on that director position as well as the lifeguards, get some thoughts there, what we're gonna do, maybe a little differently with the hiring process. And if there's a serve safe, is there a serve, I don't know what serve safes cost, but we might want to take a look if there's a class they take or whatever to let people know about that. All right. I think they need that to do the food anyway, right? So maybe you get a lifeguard and the director have serve safe certification. Is that what they need? I think.
Well,
Only if it's hot food.
Right. If it's packaged food, you don't need it, but we were also thinking about if we could get the food truck in 2 days a week on your busiest days, that would be a big financial help to the park.
But what does that get the parks?
20%.
You think they're gonna buy into that? What food
Well,
truck's gonna do that?
Well, you know what?
They're not gonna
They
come.
have,
No. They're not making
No.
20% as it is. They're making sure money. They're not gonna give us 20% just parking it. They'll park down at Stars for nothing. You know, I don't know. I don't think we're not gonna be able to charge a food truck a fee to go in there. They're not making money. They'll say, see you later.
wait a minute, when you had events at the park in the past and food trucks came, did you not get money from the food trucks?
What park you talking about? John Pond? No, never did.
No, I'm
No,
talking
SEM,
about
when SEM ran
Ken
it,
Williams Camp.
When
I'm sorry, go
SEM,
ahead.
that's when SEM ran it.
Yeah,
Scott knows.
yes.
okay, Scott, where did the money come from for the food trucks when they came to the park?
I'm not sure what you're saying, Paula, but if they were contracted through SEM, we got 20%.
I see.
And we don't have contracts
So
with any
we
food
can't
trucks.
ask. So I'm asking if we wanted a food truck at the park for 1 or 2 days, if they came in for a few hours to the park and we made a contract that we get a percentage, is that possible? Since it's hot food and
Sure,
we get a percent, can we do that?
sure, why
I
can't
mean,
we?
that,
We have to go
I
through the
don't
town to
know.
get a contract. They go through the town to do the contract. We don't do the contract, whether it be through the town.
oh, okay,
So we don't,
So
we
if we
wouldn't
ask-
handle that. That'd be the town have to do that.
okay. But if we asked them and they were willing to come in, say, for 2 hours on a Friday or Saturday, something like that, and we get a percentage, we have to refer them to the town for a contract. Is that correct?
Well, it would be the same contract that Boston Tavern would have if they have a food truck come in.
Okay, I just want to do it right and.
I don't,
I think-
again, you can definitely look into it, but I think you're hitching your horse to the wrong wagon. But anyway,
You,
you can always
you
take a
don't
look
think
at
they'll
it.
do it?
I don't
you
think,
don't
I don't think
think
it's
they'll do it?
worthwhile. I don't think they'll do it.
No, I think
Because what are you
All right.
serving? You're serving, what, a
a
dog?
captive audience, you could have 80 people there that day, 100
No.
people.
If you get 80 people there, let me know. That'd be great.
We had,
But
we
that's
had
for another
87.
day.
we had 87 last summer. But
All right, any other
Again-
items? All right, I'll make a motion. We adjourn the meeting of Lakeville Park Commission at 8:52. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second,
All right, any discussion? Next meeting, let's make it, how about 2 weeks from tonight? The 24th.
Yeah.
7 o'clock.
Okay.
Is that okay? Okay, let's see if we approve the motion. Darlene, what do you do? What are you voting?
Yay, yay.
Scott,
yes.
Tony,
Yes.
Paula.
yes.
All right, the Lakeville Park Commission meeting has been adjourned. The motion has been approved. Have a nice one, folks.